Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and I have our names updated. On your right is Riley George. Riley is playing a Naya Hexproof deck. He's been playing a deck similar to this now for quite a long time. And as we see, here is a Glade Cover Scout going to come in. And he is facing against Dante Power. Dante is playing a Bant deck. It's sort of a Bant mid-range-ish deck. He's actually got some pretty powerful cards in it. I've seen Bremez, Kiora, cards like that, so should be interesting. It looks like they're making just a little bit of a mistake in communication there in terms of the turns. This, of course, not being run at competitive REL, so that's just a quick fix. So it looks like Riley's going to take a shock here. He's going to go down to 18. And I believe we're going to see an Unflinching Courage. Enchanting the Glade Cover Scout. So, of course, what Unflinching Courage does. +2/+2, Trample, and Lifelink. So, Riley's going to go up to 21 from that hit. Dante down to 17. And it looks like Dante might be a little landlight here, and he's going to try and pacifism this. That doesn't work. And it looks like Riley's saying that. He says, you know, yeah, this has hexproof. You can't actually do that. So Dante's going to say, okay, well, instead then, as can't make that play, he's going to play Kiora's Follower and pass the turn. So we see Boros Reckoner in hand for Riley. Riley going to take another shock here. He can be pretty liberal with taking the shocks, as he does have this... he does have this Unflinching Courage, so it looks like you're going to see 4 mana. And here's an Eidolon of Countless Battles. So, of course, that gives the creature +1/+1 for each creature you control, and +1/+1 for each aura you control. So right now it is adding +3/+3. So this is going to be an attack for 6. Six points of Trample Lifelink damage. And Dante is going to, he is going to block it off. He's going to take a few points of trample damage, going to go to 14. Riley going to gain a lot of life. Let's go up to 25 here. Things looking pretty grim for Dante already. As this Glade Cover Scout is just really overrunning him here. So it looks like he's got a Guildgate, Zorius Guildgate. He is going to put that into play tapped. This is round 2. Riley, that's an Ethereal Armor, not a Scryland. Riley's going to say, alright, fix that. There we go, and now the Ethereal Armor is going to come into play, but it is going to be enchanting. The Glade Cover, we're going to see Boros Reckoner also join the party. Dante going to take a quick look at that. Say that's okay. And here comes an attack. So that Ethereal Armor giving, well, doesn't matter. It's going to get fogged. None of that, please. So Dante going to stem the bleeding with a fog. Looks like he's going to 3 mana. This is an Archetype of Courage. So for those unfamiliar with Archetype of Courage, it is a new card from the set. But it looks like Dante is actually going to reverse that play. He's not going to do that. He's actually going to play Kiora. So undo button there. Kiora going to come into play. And I think he tried to target the Glade Cover Scout, but obviously you can't do that. Here's a second Eidolon. And here's a gigantic attack, and that is lethal damage. So Riley is going to pick up game one here with his Naya Hexproof deck over the Bant mid-range deck that Dante is currently playing. That Glade Cover Scout was indeed terrifying. Indeed terrifying. How old are the people we're currently watching? I'm going to say around 14. I know Riley's 14. I'm not sure how old Dante is. Dante's 12, apparently. And I think Riley's 14. So we are going to move to the sideboards here now. I don't have the deck list. Of course, this is not competitive REL, therefore I don't have I do not have deck lists currently available to me. So I'm going to see a little bit of boarding here. So game one basically went how the Naya Hexproof deck wants it to go. Played a Hexproof creature, put a whole bunch of enchantments on it, and made it gigantic. In this situation, it was a Glade Cover Scout that was in play, and I believe at the end of the game had an Unflinching Courage, an Ethereal Armor, and 2 Eidolon of Countless Battles on it. So that thing was massive. And it was able to get the job done for Riley there. Dante was not able to mount much of a defense against it. He was a little bit land light there for a short period. And of course, the idea behind Hexproof is that it's hard to interact with. Of course, the cards that Dante had that he wanted to interact with the Hexproof creature, he couldn't. So exactly the way that the Hexproof deck wants the game to be played out. So I'll say once again, everybody just tuning in, this is an under-16 tournament at Midgard Gaming. This tournament was originally brought on by the Magic Club currently formed at a local school, Mount Pearl Intermediate. They formed this a Magic Club, and it has completely blown up over the last few weeks up at the school. So the idea was that the players would have the opportunity to compete in a tournament where they felt a little bit more comfortable, where they wouldn't have to risk running into players like myself or some of our other senior players. Many players currently in our tournament today have said that they just don't feel. I guess it's a little bit of lack of confidence, whatever it is. They don't want to face the higher up players that have been playing for a long time. So this tournament is a great way for them to sort of just get into the tournament scene, get a little bit introduced to it, but in a more comfortable environment for them, playing against a lot of their friends, a lot of people that they know, and all that sort of thing. What are we giggling about in the chat? I don't understand. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we're going to see a Temple of Plenty. Dante is on the play. He's going to scry. You see he has Burmez in his hand. Not sure how many land he has. He did take a mulligan here. And it looks like he is going to ship that card to the bottom. And he's going to pass the turn back. Riley going to take a shock off of the Temple Garden. Is this Glade Cover? There is Glade Cover Scout yet again. And Dante, very important card for him in this matchup, is a Fog. He just has to be careful not to use that too prematurely. Again, I'm very confused at what's going on down there. I don't know. Okay, so here is Ethereal Armor right off the hop. Gonna get in for 2 points of damage. Not super threatening right yet, but of course, ideally, if Riley's deck works the way he wants it to, it is going to get much bigger very quickly. And does Dante have a third land here? I don't believe he has a third land. And that is very unfortunate, because Riley's deck is the type that really, really punishes this kind of a stumble. And so we're going to see a Plains here from Riley, and it looks like Voice of Resurgence going to join the party. Voice of Resurgence, very, very popular creature from Dragon's Maze. Green-white, he is a 2/2. And whenever he dies, you get an XX token where it's equal to the number of creatures you control, power and toughness. And you also get one of those tokens whenever an opponent plays an instant spell, or plays a spell on your turn. And now another Ethereal Armor going to come in, and that is now starting to get very scary. That is a 5/5 Glade Cover Scout right now. 5/5 first strike. No land again for Riley, for Dante, excuse me, has to pass the turn. It's a Temple of Plenty from Riley here. Going to get a Scry. Looks like he's going to leave that on top. And we have another enchantment. We have another Glade Cover Scout. And here's an attack for 7. So it looks like Dante's going to fog this off. Riley's going to get a Voice of Resurgence token due to that. Dante had to do that there. He is way too low on life to continue to take this kind of beating. However, the Voice of Resurgence token is now going to be threatening a lot of additional damage. And Dante finally finds his third land, but I don't think it's the one he's looking for. He wanted that extra white mana so that he could play his Bremez. Of course, Pacifism can go on either the token or the voice itself, cannot go on the Glade Cover Scout because of Hexproof. Hexproof, one of the most unfun things that they've printed in Magic in a very long time, and here we're going to see Pacifism on the voice token. So once again, Dante is just in damage prevention mode. He has to try and stabilize the board. I'm not sure if he has access to anything like Supreme Verdict or something like that in order to clear out this board here. You see Riley with a land and a Chain to the Rocks in his hand. Excuse me, sorry for you headphone users out there. And here's an attack, I believe, for 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe that's dropping Dante, I want to say down to 5, no, or to 4, excuse me. Oh, no, it is 5. No, I was right. And Dante finally finds his second Plains. So he's going to play Bremez, but I think it's a little too late. And you see Riley does actually just have a Chain to the Rocks. He's just going to chain that. Chain to the Rocks. Dante can take a look at that. Exiles the creature. And that should allow Riley to be able to swing in for lethal damage. So that is exiled. Here's an attack, and that is the game. Riley George is going to win the match 2-0. Naya Hexproof, defeating Bant Midrange. So, very fast games there for Riley. He did what his deck wants to do. He got a Glade Cover Scout out, put a whole bunch of enchantments on it, made it very, very big, and that was just able to end it. So, Riley's going to move to 2-0 here. And with that, we're going to go to a break once again. Break probably going to be a little longer. Our feature match did not take nearly as long as last round. So we're going to cut to a break. Make sure to stick around, guys. More action coming up later on.